everybody. Today I thought I would do something that I haven't done before in videos, but this could be a really fun series if you like this, so let me know. We could do more of these. So as many of you know, I worked retail for a lot of years before I sadly had to close my store in 2020 because of COVID and a lot of other things. So anyways, I sew full-time now and I no longer work retail, and I have to tell you, I don't miss that aspect of it. I do not miss that at all, because I swear to God, customers are getting stupider. Like, not everyone, of course. A lot of people were really lovely that I dealt with. Most customers, really lovely human beings. But any of you that have worked retail will know that you have problematic customers from time to time. We had them quite a lot. You know, you've got your Karens that are gonna like freak out at you. I wanna talk to the manager, all that kind of stuff. And we did have our fair share of that, believe me, and I can tell you those stories too. But these ones, the first three are based on the fact that I don't know if these people like failed out of school, like if our education system is failing us or like what's happening, but you will be surprised. So here we go. Story number one. This woman comes in and is like, I would like a balloon, no problem. So we show her the balloons. She picks one out, and if you guys have ever seen the foil balloons that are shaped like stuff, they can be round, say happy birthday, they can be shaped like whatever, ice cream cones. This particular one was shaped like a cow, okay? Shaped like the body of a cow, black and white spots, everything. And I said to her, do you need helium in it? She was like, nope. I'm gonna take it with me, I'm gonna pack it and take it away, and I'll just buy it as it is and get helium for it later. And I said, great. So I went up to the till to ring her in, and I happened to have my phone in my pocket as we were going to the till, and my text tone noise is a goat making a goat noise. So my phone goes off with the balloon on the counter, and she looks down at the balloon, waits, looks up at me and says, oh my God, did the balloon just make that noise? And I was like, first of all, that was a goat noise, not a cow noise. And second of all, no, balloons don't make noise. Uninflated balloons especially don't make noise. So no, that was not in fact your balloon making that noise. That was my text tone in my pocket. And she was like, oh, thank goodness. And I was like, never in my life have I looked at a random inanimate object on a counter and thought it made a goat noise at me. Like, anyway, I don't know what's going on in some people's heads. Story number two. This woman comes in, orders some helium balloon bunches, bouquets. We make them for her. There was about 4 of them, whatever. We bagged them up. She told us the colors and everything. She said they were beautiful. She bagged them up, took them home. Great. Never heard anything else. As normal, you know, most customers buy their balloons, leave the store, and we never hear anything else about it. Occasionally we get phone calls being like, hey, the event was really beautiful. Thank you for helping us decorate, whatever. But most people just take their balloons and go, and that's the last of it. So it seemed normal to me. Well, 2 weeks later, this woman comes storming back into the store, like absolutely fucking raging, with these bags in her hands, the bags that we had given her. And of course, 2 weeks have gone by, so the balloons are in the bag, but they're sad. They're all like laying on the ground, and they're like this big, and they're all shriveled up because it's been 2 weeks. And she's like, what the fuck? And we were like, what? And she was like, well, my party's tonight, and like, look at these balloons. Like, this is not acceptable. And we were like, well, you bought those 2 weeks ago. And she was like, yeah, and my party's today, and they're no good. So like, what the fuck? Like, this is not okay. And I was like, I don't know how to tell you that balloons aren't supposed to last 2 weeks. Like, you've got like a good, 2 days out of them, probably, and longer if you're lucky, but like, they're really not supposed to last more than like a day, right? You buy them the day of the party, maybe the night before if you can't get there, but no further away than that, because common sense says that the helium escapes through the pores in the latex, and eventually, no matter what you do, the balloon will shrink and become smaller. This is literally just science. You know what I mean? Helium, lighter than air, escapes through latex, which is porous. I don't know where you're not understanding this science lesson. This is not my fault. And she's like, well, it must be your helium, it must be like some quality. And we were like, no, you just do not buy balloons 2 weeks before your party. Like, if she had told us that her party wasn't for 2 weeks, there's no way we would have suggested that she did that. But she was absolutely fucking furious at us because of our like shitty balloons and helium, when she's the dummy who bought her balloons 2 weeks before the party. Like, I didn't even know how to deal with this woman. I was just like, I don't know how to politely tell you that you're stupid without just outright saying that you're stupid, which you can't. I mean, you can say in retail, but that's what gets you 1-star reviews on Google. So I didn't do that. I politely explained to the woman that they were not supposed to last that long. But she was having none of it. She was having none of it. She was absolutely fucking pissed at us and did the, I'm never coming back here again. Screw you guys, and left. And we were like, good riddance, I guess, because I don't know. There's no cure for that kind of stupid. But the next story, this is gonna blow your mind. Okay, the first time this happened, I literally thought this woman must be the dumbest woman that I've ever spoken to in my life. So this woman comes in, regular latex balloons. We had a balloon stand, right? We had a bunch of balloon stands, but happy birthday, congratulations, retirement, what have you. And she's like, I want to buy some helium balloons. And I said, okay. So she picked out the one she wanted. And I said, did you want me to inflate them for you, put the helium, make a bouquet? And she was like, no, just gonna take them as is. So I said, okay, no problem, whatever. So she purchased the balloons, we just put them in a little bag for her, shipped them home. That was that. Well, the next day, she came back and like lost her fucking mind at me because her balloons weren't floating. And I was like, well, I know, you just bought them and took them home. And she's like, yeah, but I like blew them up with my mouth and they just went on the floor. Like they're not fucking floating. Like what the fuck? And I was like, because you didn't get helium in them. Like that's not the way it works. You don't blow balloons up with your mouth and then they float. Like your lungs are not full of helium. What are you not understanding here? And she was like, no, they're called helium balloons. They're helium balloons. So you get the balloon and you blow in it and then it floats because it's a fucking helium balloon. Like what's wrong with you? And I was like, nope, it's just a balloon. You put the helium in them. And she's like, then why do they call them helium balloons? I'm like, they don't. They just call them balloons. You have to add the helium to them. And she's like, no, that's not a fucking thing. Like you just buy them and you blow them up and they float. Like there's something wrong with you. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to stand here and argue with this woman that you do not put the air from your lungs into a balloon and it magically fucking floats. Like what part of school did you fail out of that you're standing here arguing with me about this? Like I don't even know how to deal with somebody like that, right? And what happens is you end up speaking to them like a toddler. Like you end up being like, okay, here's how this works. Stay calm, honey. The air in your lungs is not made of helium. Helium comes from the tank. The tank gets the helium out of the ground. You know what I mean? Like, it's like giving a toddler a science lesson, except this was a grown-ass, like 50-year-old woman. And I was like, I can't believe that just fucking happened. And then that probably happened, I'm gonna say at least a dozen more times. Like in the last 2 years that I had the store, I'd never heard it before. So from about 2018 to 2020, I heard that exact angry rant from Always Women over a dozen times. And I was like, what the fuck? Is our education system failing us? Like, I don't know what's going on, but if you people are literally too stupid to understand that your lungs are not full of helium, I can't with retail anymore. That's it. So, yeah, that. Anyway. Okay, and a fourth quick story about stupidity and balloons. So this woman comes in. This one was young. This girl was probably in her like 20s, I'm gonna guess. And she showed me a picture from the internet. She was like, here is a balloon bouquet. I would like this balloon bouquet. It was like purple, silver, and blue. And she said, I want it just like this. And I said, no problem. So I got the purple, silver, and blue balloons. I inflated them with air and showed them to her and said, do you like these colors? And she was like, yes. And she's like, I want it arranged just like the picture. No problem. So we took the picture to the back with us. We inflated the balloons with helium, put the ribbons on, and we arranged them just the way they were in the picture. Purple, blue, silver, whatever. Great. So I took the bouquet up and I was like, ta-da! Just like the picture. Aren't you impressed? And she looked at it for a second. She looked at me. Then she looked at it for a second and she didn't say anything. And I was like, yes, do you have concerns? And she was like, well, I don't understand. Like, it's not staying still. And I said, what do you mean it's not staying still? Like, we're inside a building, right? And she's like, well, the balloons are they're kind of like doing this and they're kind of slowly spinning around. And I was like, yes, because helium is lighter than air, and air currents make the balloons move slightly, just like the normal air currents in the building. And obviously that'll get worse if you go outside, which is why I'm gonna put it in a bag for you. And she's like, no, I can't, like, you can't let this happen. Like, this has to be, it has to stay still, like the picture. Like, my mom wanted exactly this. And I was like, you know what, your mom's gonna be fine. She's gonna understand that like balloons just move around a little of their own accord. Like, that's the nature of the beast. If you just put it like against a wall a little bit, that'll stop it mostly from moving, but it's still gonna move a little bit just due to the nature of balloons. And she's like, no, like, it's driving me nuts. Like, I can't, can you just fucking tape them together? Like, can you put, like, you have to stop them from moving. Like, I can't, it's gonna distract me all night at my party. And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, like, I can't actually stop the balloons from moving with the air currents of the room. Like, and she was like, you have to do something about this. Like, do something about this. And I was like, I can't. Like, laws of physics, like I can't. And also science, I don't know what to tell you. Like, are people getting stupider? Internet, I ask you at large, are people actually getting stupider? Because these are conversations that I shouldn't have to have with grown-up people, I wouldn't think. But here we are, so I'm letting you know about them. So that's the end of my stupid stories about balloons. Now I have a very weird and stressful story to end this beautiful video with. So this guy would come in from time to time. I would say in the years that I worked at the store, he came in maybe once a year, maybe a little bit more, but not often. I didn't see him very much. And this person was very distinct. He was a shorter gentleman that sort of he talked like this, like he talked like a wabbit, like a wascally wabbit. Like he honestly talked like Elmer Fudd. He had like some sort of speech thing going on where he couldn't pronounce R's correctly. And he always wore this fringe leather jacket, like one of those 1980s, you know, the ones with the big long fringe on the arm. He always wore one of those. And it was the weirdest goddamn thing. Have you guys ever seen the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray? Because that was exactly this guy. Like, he would come in, and every time he came in, we would have the same conversation, word for word. He would come in every single fucking time and say, hello, clearly I've never been here before. Which the first time it made sense, because clearly he had never been there before. But the, dozen or so times that he came in after that, it didn't make any sense. Like, by like the fifth time, he would come in and go, hello, clearly I've never been here before. And I was like, oh fuck, here we go again. Like, I knew exactly how this was gonna end before it even started, because it was like a repeat of the same behavior. It was fucking strange. He would say, hello, clearly I've never been here before. And I would say, yes. And he would say, do you sell balloons? And I would say, yes. Just like every other time I said yes. And he was like, do you have Qualatex? And what he's saying is Qualatex. It's a brand of balloons. It's a very good quality brand of latex balloons, okay? And he knew that. But he would say, do you have Qualatex? And pronounce it all weird. And I would say, yes, we have Qualatex. And he would say, what is that? And I was like, just like every other time you've asked me, that is a brand of balloon. And he was like, do you have 24-inch? And I said, yes. Just like every other time you've said this, yes, we sell 24-inch balloons. So 24-inch balloons, just for your reference out there, for those of you that haven't seen them, are enormous. They're like about this big around. And they're shaped exactly like a balloon. They're just really fucking big. So this guy was into them. He would say, do you have 24-inch? And I would say, yes, we do. And he would be like, can you show me? Yes. So I would show him. And every single fucking time he would say, can you inflate one of these for me just so I can see it? And no, absolutely not. I fucking know a balloon fetishist when I see one, and they are not allowed to watch you inflate balloons. That is a whole nother story that I can tell you later. But anyway, I would say, no, I can't inflate one for you to see it. If you pay for it in advance, I can inflate it for you and you can take it with you. And every single time, it was at that point that his whole demeanor just changed. He would say, well, this is for my sister's wedding. And like, I don't even know if that stupid bitch doesn't get married. I swear to fucking God. Like, these balloons are supposed to be for her. And if she doesn't get married, I'm gonna take her body and I'm gonna hack it up into little pieces. And I'm gonna like bury it in the yard, some of it in the yard. I'm gonna throw some of it in the river and they will never fucking find that stupid whore. Like, I swear to God, she just makes me so angry. And he starts shaking like this, and then he would just like scream and fucking run out of the store. But like, really graphic description of like dismembering his sister and her wedding guests every time. Like, that was the end of this conversation every time. And then the next time he would come in, hello, clearly I've never been here before. Calm as anything, and I just fucking knew. I'm like, this guy is gonna degenerate into just weird graphic body chopping up and then bolt out of my store. Because that's what he did every time. And there weren't very many people that made me uncomfortable. I have a very different bar for like what's weird and what's uncomfortable because of the people that I deal with in my daily life. But this guy was one of exactly two people that I would make sure that the portable phone was in my pocket when he came in, because he was fucking unstable and there was something wrong with him. There was one other guy that made me feel like that, and I'll tell you that story later if you're interested in hearing it. But yeah, fucked up, right? I mean, you wouldn't think that being in like a costume and balloon business would be quite so weird or stressful, but there you have it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed these weird retail stories all themed around balloons. I have weird retail stories themed around pretty much anything you can imagine, because if you knew the store that I owned and the kind of shit we had, oh, let me tell you about the stories that you might be able to hear. So if you enjoyed it, let me know, and we'll do another one of these videos later on. So please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome if you haven't already. If you want to follow me on social medias, I have all of them. We're going to link them all below. I also have a Depop where you can check out my secondhand stuff and also other secondhand vintage stuff that we have left over from the store. If you want to buy me a Ko-fi, you can. It's ko-fi.com/madmadson. And I think that's it. Like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias. Buy me a Ko-fi if you want to. Check out my Depop. And I will see you guys all around for my next fabulous YouTube video.